Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to my channel again. This is my second video after I do a hiatus. In this video, like usual, I will examine a study case from Harvard Business School. The title of study case is Formula One. I bet you already know about it, the Formula One. Okay, the Formula One. Okay, before we will examine about the study case, the usual I will examine it with chilling. I got my drink right here. Okay. Let's start examining the study case. First off, I will tell you that Formula One holds the commercial rights to the FIA or Formula One World Championship. At the end of 2016, US-based Liberty Media acquired Formula One for $4.6 billion and began running the organization much like a startup. The organization's leadership team consisted of Chief Executive Officer or CEO. The Chief Executive Officer is Chase Carey, and then CCO or Chief Commander Officer, his name is Sean Bridges, and then the Managing Director of Motorsport is Ross Brown. Okay, I will tell you that the sport is organized around three primary stakeholders. First one is the teams, consisting of 600 to 900 people per team. They build cars from scratch and are managed by team principals. Annual budgets range widely from $130 million to $460 million. And then the second one is the FIA. The FIA stands for Federation Internationale de Automobile. I don't know how to pronounce it because it was in English, I think, but I don't know. I think French. Okay, the FIA. It was the second. The FIA, governing body for world motorsport that acts as the regulator, oversees safety and manages race weekend logistics and officiating. The third one or the last one is the Formula One itself, or the commercial entity responsible for marketing sport, negotiating broadcast agreements, and forming partnership with race promoters and sponsors. And the last one is distributing the prize money to the teams. Okay, I will tell you about the revenue generating business units, but I will take a sip of my drink again, sorry, because my throat is kinda dry. Okay, The Formula One operates through four main revenue generating business units, each maintaining its own P&L. First one is promoting. Promoting grants raise promoters to the right to host and stage Grand Prix. Promoters pay an average annual fee of $30 million and generate revenue from ticket sales, local sponsorships, and secondary concessions. Promotion accounted for 30% of Formula One's revenue in 2019. And then the second one is broadcast. Licenses rights to broadcasters such as ESPN and Sky to air events on television and digital platforms. Broadcasting accounted for 38% of total revenue in 2019. The third one is advertising and sponsorship. Sales trackside advertising and race sponsorship packages through multi-year contracts. Major partners include Heineken, DSL, Rolex, Pirelli, I don't know how to pronounce it, Pirelli and Emirates. This unit accounted for about 15% of revenue in 2019 back then. And then last one is the other ones, comprises ancillary streams such as the Paddock Club, corporate hospitality program, and then support race series, Formula 2 or Formula 3, and then the freight or logistical services, and then last one is digital social media platforms like F1 TV Pro. And then I will tell you that there are 5 pillars of growth strategy. Okay, I will tell you about it, but I will take a sip of my drink again. Sorry. So, back again. As I said, I will tell you about 5 pillars of growth strategy that F1 did to solve F1 from a traditional motorsports into a global entertainment brand. Leadership established 5 core growth pillars. Okay, there's 5. We're going to the first. First of all is make the sport better and healthier for both teams and fans by improving on-track competition and increasing transparency. The second one is upgrade events to modernize them and turn them into major entertainment spectacles. The third one is engage fans. They engage fans across both traditional and digital platforms, including streaming and social media. And fourth one is expand the brand. They expand the brand through an initiative like esports, fantasy leagues, and exhibition tours. Then the last one is the fifth one is broaden the global footprint. with specific strategy focus on China and USA or United States. Okay, I will tell you about the team economics and budget challenges. But before it, I will take a sip of my drink again. Okay. Back again, team economics and budget challenges. Prior to recent structural reforms, team budgets varied by dramatically, ranging from $130 million annually. This created massive competitive imbalances between top-tier constructor teams and lower-tier participants. And then the Concord Agreement and financial regulation to level the playing field and ensure the long-term financial health of the sport. Formula One introduced measures like cost caps and a more equitable prize money distribution model through the Concord Agreement. Then I'll tell you about the digital transforms and media strategy. There are three media strategies that F1 did. First off, shift to digital and social media. I will tell you about it. But do you know who leaded this strategy? Okay, if you don't know, I will tell you about it. I will tell you about Chase Carey. Back then, about 10 minutes before this, Chase Carey was the CEO of the chief executive officer of the F1, and then Shane Bretches, the CCO or chief commander officer, and then the Ross Brown as a manager. Okay, the F1 shifted away from legacy media exclusivity mindsets that previously restricted digital clip sharing. They embraced social media platforms to reach younger demographics. And then over the top or OTT streaming. The launch of subscription based platform F1 TV Pro allowed fans to stream live sessions on both cameras and team radio communications directly. And the last one is capturing dedicated digital native audiences. Alhamdulillah. And then the third one or the last one is the Drive to Survive effect. Netflix docu-series from Formula One, Drive to Survive, became a cornerstone of Liberty Media's fan engagement strategy, successfully revitalizing interest in key markets, particularly in US or United States. And then I'll tell you about the geographic expansion strategy, the US and Chinese markets. A primary strategic focus for Liberty Media has been broadening F1's geographic footprint. This has materialized through the addition of marquee street races in the United States, such as Miami and Las Vegas, alongside traditional Grand Prix like Austin. And it was aiming to capitalize on high net worth audiences and lucrative domestic sponsorships. Okay, thank you for watching my video. This is my 14th video. I've ever created in this channel, that we examine about study case. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.